My name is Brittany and I am a respiratory therapist with Home Medical, and I'm going to show you the standard suction machine that you may have at home. And this is a machine for only home use, and it must be plugged in to the wall to be able to use. So it just has your standard plug-in that would be plugged in. It does not run on any kind of battery. This machine has just your basic parts, your suction canister, connective tubing, and then you would need a suction tube to hook here, and the other end you would adapt either your yonker that you would use for oral suctioning or a suction catheter for endotracheal use. So if you, to turn this machine on to start with, you would need it plugged in. Your power switch is right here on the side. You would turn this on, occlude the end of your tubing, and then you use this dial right here to set your pressures. For pediatric patients or babies, the recommended pressure is 80 to 120 for endotracheal use, meaning down the trach tube, and no greater than 150 for adults down the trach tube. If you are suctioning orally, you can slowly increase those numbers just to the pressure that you would need to effectively remove the secretions. If you have your machine turned on and you have occluded your catheter and you're trying to set your pressure and you realize that you do not have any suction on the end of your tubing, if you have turned your machine on and you're trying to set the pressure and you realize that you have no suction on the end of your tubing, you would start here, disconnect here, and see if your canister has suction on the end of it. If it does not, then you want to disconnect here and see if you have suction here. If you do, then your canister is faulty. There's something wrong with it. You may need to check and make sure that the lid is sealed tight. If you have a red canister, they have filters on the inside, and if that filter is wet, that could be your problem and the lid needs to be changed. If you still do not have suction here, then you want to disconnect and see if you have suction here. If you have suction here, then your filter right here has probably gotten wet and it needs to be replaced. So you would just take this out and replace it with one of your spare filters that you have. And you would connect all that back together and then check and make sure that you have suction on the end of your tubing. If you have replaced or attempted to replace those parts and you are still having trouble with your suction, you can call your respiratory therapist, or you can call the Home Medical main number, and if it is after hours, it will roll over to the call service to contact the respiratory therapist on call.